I didn't understand the Bible. You see, when I first started reading it, it was Latin to me. It was like, oh gosh, it was just like, open it up, read, a paragraph, and just be like, what was he talking about? Jesus is a door, and I gotta walk through him. I mean, do I take this literal, or you know what I mean? Or is it symbolic, or is he figurative speech? I mean, tongue in cheek. And this is where my pursuit started in seeking the Lord, was in confusion. All right, but there was a deposit that was placed in my heart that, I guess what I'm trying to say is this. I have sown so much wrong into this world that I'm done choosing my way. I'm looking for the truth. And when you've sown so much bad seed in this world, you get beat up, you get worked. I had a 200 heart rate at one point. I mean, I could give a lot of stories here, but I've been married a few times. My point, though, is when you have gotten whittled out of bringing on enough hell into your own life and reaping that hell and planting hell and sowing it and reaping it, the cycle just doesn't end. I have done a lot of it. And where I'm going is you get worn out, and that's what happened to me. And instead of trying to just read something or go to church and let another man tell me what God is saying, I chose to apply it into my life. I know it seems the most obvious, but believe it or not, it seems what I've been learning, that's the last thing that people do. And I'm not trying to poke fun at anyone in this, because I think people have to get to a state of depravity and wear themselves out and realize that I can't do this life in my own strength. And this is where I have found in seeking world religions of what belief addresses this problem of suffering. And I have applied Hindu beliefs. I have applied, seeking out, Siddhartha's view of Hinduism by rejecting the caste system. And just not believing in sin. I mean, I've stood in different areas and wrestled with these views, but every time I've come up with a contradiction where it just doesn't work out. But within Christianity, what I've learned is it's addressing yourself, and that how to address the problem of suffering. What I have found out has been applied through the incarnation, is through Christ dwelling within me and letting him use me, and not looking at me loving other people when they do me wrong as me walking away, but keep on going back because of knowing the brokenness that's there. Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. And this right here is what I have really learned through application of God's Word. So if you're struggling with reading the Word, I was too. I struggle very much so. Here's another example. And I've given this before, but I was out, one of the first things that I did at the church, when I started going to church and I was wanting to learn about my Father and build that relationship up. It said in James that true religion is taking care of the widows and the fatherless. And when you really think about it, you really understand. I'm not going to get into that right now, but there is a major brokenness there, and it brings me much joy when I understood why James says this, and the character of God that one gains through that application. And so this is where I'm at, where I'm going is there was a lady at our church that needed to, she had her fence destroyed, needs someone to fix it. So I went over there and I fixed a fence, all right? It's chain link fence, not a welding. It wasn't a welding job. It was a post hole digging and chain link. I've never done it in my life. And I was like, you know what? All right, Lord, I'm gonna do this. I felt just this draw to go do it. I did it by myself, and the first day out there, I started cussing after just a few hours. I was angry. I didn't want to do the job. I didn't make it so everyone knew or anything, but I was upset. Went home, came back the next day, worked a little bit more. This job ended up taking me about a week, but probably would have only been a day's work if I wouldn't have grumbled so much. But I finished this job up, and I go talk to this lady after I finish it up. I let her know I'm done. I'm getting ready to hit the road. I'm getting a little upset still because I'm like, I didn't learn anything from this. Why does God want me doing this? It just didn't make sense. So I went and told this lady, this elderly lady, and she came out and just looked at the fence. She started to weep, and then she started to tell me a story about her husband, and that how he had just passed, and how when he did, that someone drove through her yard and almost took out her house and took her with it, and it was just a mess, right? And there's more to this, but in summary, after she told me this and just sharing with me and telling me what a blessing that I was in her life and the joy that she was telling me, it floored me. It just floored me, because this is the only example that I can give to what happened that day. There's this movie called The Grinch Saved Christmas, or The Grinch Stole Christmas, right? And this was the newer one with, not the newest one, but the one with the funny guy. I can't remember his name. Not Adam Sandler, but the Yes Man guy. Anyways, he's up on top of the mountain, and he is just like, he sees the lights come back on in Christmas, and Christmas didn't get ruined. And long story short, he's just like, wow. The Grinch is up there, and he just feels his heart kaboom, boom, and it hits the ground. He's just like, oh my gosh, what is happening? What is going on in my chest? It was his heart beating. He didn't realize he had a heart. And it just floored him, right? And that is exactly how I felt. And from that day, it's rare that I can, and I'm not trying to be mean, but man, my heart is welled up for people. I don't know what's happened to me, but I can't. It's hard to keep them tears in, just like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I'm like, dear, get back up in there. You know how the guy does that. And so what I'm saying is I understood a great character of my Father's love through serving this wonderful lady. And it woke me up from a slumber, and from a selfish slumber that I was living in, and self-seeking, just caring about what I can get for me, and what is this going to help? Is this going to make me richer? Or is this going to make life easier for me? And that's how I used to think. But after that day, it twisted me inside out. It really did. I saw a character of God, and this is why I have been sold out. Is because it makes sense. Every time I apply something into my life, it heals this brokenness. And to understand that, it only took it was just, and some people, I guess, they read and they figure it out. But for me, I had so much wrong living, cultural conditioning that changed my thinking to inwardly, and that's what I see in the world today. I just wanted more money, thought it'd solve all the world's problems. Well, no, it just helped me get a bigger truck and a nicer clothes and whatever, right? Edification of myself. So when we read the scriptures, what it should do, as my brother Michael Heidel says, carry your faith with an open hand, okay? And that is how we get to know the character of God. When we're holding that clenched fist, that's how we hold our faith. Those are the traditions of what man has told us what God is like. And that's where judgment comes in. That's where fear comes in. That's where hate comes in. And that is what man is. But what I have found out is God is nothing of those things. He is not hate. He is not fear. He is love, all right?